right, thank you, Todd. It was a pretty sensational headline. A kindergarten teacher here in Maine charged with endangering the welfare of a child and committing aggravated assault on that child. Yes, on a 5-year-old student. Add to the story that this was a teacher with a stellar reputation, one who was known for fostering kindness and emotional well-being, who made learning fun, and who was considered especially gifted when it came to kids with behavioral issues. So what went wrong? Did he have everyone fooled? Was he pushed to the brink and finally snapped? Or is this a story of systemic breakdowns in both our education and criminal justice systems that victimized both this teacher accused and his alleged victim? It's a Thursday afternoon about 2 months into the school year at the G.H. Jewett School in Bucksport. The students in Christian Kobel's kindergarten class have just come in from recess and are gathering their things from their cubbies in the hallway to get ready to go home. According to Kobel, one little boy, we'll call him Jimmy, though that's not his real name, is supposed to be going down to the principal's office. He had been sent there earlier in the day for acting up and was allowed to go back to his classroom only on the condition that he would return to the office at the end of the school day for dismissal. But now he's refusing to go. What happens next is caught on tape by a hallway surveillance camera and will end up having severe consequences for the teacher. But first, some background.
Kids Piece offers.
Christian Kobel started his career working with at-risk teenagers in a program called Kids Piece in Pennsylvania. Saying he wanted to make a difference for children earlier in their development, he moved into elementary education, eventually landing at the Jewett School, where he quickly earned a reputation as a standout educator.
And I worked with him a whole school year. I was in his classroom, and he's great teacher.
Ed Tech Katrina Chandler says Kobel had a rare ability to connect with his students.
And kids knew he was an adult who respected them and was willing to play with them and help them learn.
Not only when it came to academics, but social and emotional growth as well.
As an ed tech, I had a lot of recess duties. And by the end of the years I was there, probably there for maybe a total of 4 or 5 years at that school, you could tell by the end of the year which kids were in Christian's class and which kids weren't, because they were kinder. They were helping their friends, they were pushing kids on the swing. If a kid fell, one of his kids would be the first one there to say, "Are you all right? Can I help you?"
In fact, Chandler says Kobel was such a good teacher.
I think administration gave him some of the more challenging students, because I know one year that I was not in his class, he had like 4 of the most challenging ones.
In the 22-23 school year, Kobel says that student was Jimmy. Most challenging kid you've ever had?
I'd say one of the most. 22 write-ups, office write-ups. 10 of them were physical assaults on other students.
And that was just in the first 2 months of the school year.
His best friend took a rock from him on the playground because he thought that friend threw a rock near him. So the student just grabbed a rock and chucked it at him, nailed him right in the head, and it was a gusher.
And Kobel says he asked his principal numerous times to bring Jimmy's parents in for a meeting and get the boy some extra help in the classroom, but to no avail.
I was asking, begging for help, and it just wasn't coming my way.
And so I didn't want to go, but I couldn't stay.
These 4 educators all say they were driven out of the profession by severe stress, caused at least in part by exactly the type of situation Kobel describes. And they say it's playing out in just about every classroom across the state. Students out of control. Disrespect. Would you say disrespect is rampant?
Yes. Oh, huge.
Yes.
Big time.
Violence.
Yes.
Yes.
And even, kindergarten. I worked in kindergarten, and they would throw things and hurt each other and hurt the teachers and
Flip a table.
Yeah.
I've had to clear a whole room.
Teachers have been bitten.
yeah.
I had 7th graders, but would literally fist up and bang on their desks and slam their laptops because they don't want to do an assignment.
With little or no support from the administration.
I remember on one occasion I said to my principal, I'm like, I don't know what to do with this student. I really don't know how to help them. It's, there are really bad things going on. And the principal turned their back to walk out of the room and said, just keep documenting, and walked out of the room. And I was like, that's not helping.
And for Kobel, things were about to reach the tipping point.
It was an explosive situation.
How explosive? Volatile enough to make a respected teacher snap and assault his student, as police and prosecutors would later assert? We will continue this story tomorrow on the Morning Report with a closer look at exactly what happened that day and the chain of events afterward that caused Coble to lose his job and end up in court. And we also want to note that while Jimmy's parents didn't want to be interviewed for this story, they did send a statement via email expressing gratitude to the school administration for investigating the situation.